Sigma guys are exceptional individuals who have an insatiable fondness for being alone in their own company. They are lone wolves that do everything according to their own rules and march to the beat of their own drums in whatever they do. Nevertheless, despite the fact that they are members of the Sigma male straights, they are still human beings who have feelings and requirements of their own. Simply that they have a great level of emotional intelligence as well as control over their emotions. Sigma males, like every other man out there, are capable of having romantic connections. Nevertheless, a Sigma male is an enigma even when he is in a relationship with another person. Now, I'm going to explain all the different reasons why Sigma males look down on women. Number 9. Sigma masculine definition. What exactly is a masculine Sigma? Well, an American author by the name of Theodore Robert Beale, also known as Box Day, is credited with being the first to use this phrase. He made the first reference of Sigmas on his blog in the year 2010. In 2014, the author John Alexander published a book on the subject of relationship guidance entitled The Sigma Male. This word eventually made its way to podcasts, YouTube videos, and users of Twitter in later years. To express things in a more straightforward manner, the phrase Sigma male refers to an introverted alpha male who chooses to direct his own life and follow his own rules. He exhibits many attributes that are shared by both types, and he has truly combined the qualities that are most desirable in an alpha male and a beta male. At first sight, it may not seem that a Sigma man has much to give, but in reality, this is not the case. You just have to get past the surface level of this guy's demeanor because he has a lot more depth to him than you might think at first glance. Because he dislikes being the focus of attention, you will never see a Sigma guy initiate conversation with a woman or do something hilarious that draws everyone's attention to him initially. This may lead you to the conclusion that he is uninteresting and dull, but later on, as you keep on getting to know him more and as you continue to shatter his walls one by one, you'll find that this couldn't be further from the truth. This guy is incredibly independent and self-sufficient. As a result, he does not pay much attention to what the rest of them think, and he has a reputation for being the unpopular one among the men. He doesn't even check to see if anyone is staring at him, and he certainly doesn't try to win anyone's approval by being the seductive person that he is while he's out and about. Number 8, he has a reputation for being a bit of a rebel, and although I am unable to classify him, I believe he is a Sigma male, which is essentially an introverted alpha male. He adheres strictly to his own set of principles and objectives, and he doesn't bend an inch for anyone. Because he can be so obstinate, having a relationship with him might be difficult at times. Sigma guys are exceptionally dedicated workers who do not need power or praise. This can be a disadvantage, but the plus is that you'll always know where he stands. They are well aware of what they desire, and they actively pursue it. The author Barry Davenport gives some interesting thoughts on this topic. The urge of a Sigma man to follow leaders is substantially reduced when he is forced to live outside of the social hierarchy. Therefore, nonconformist is another adjective that fits here. Number 7, he is the one who would rather not be the center of attention. They don't like to be the focus of attention at work or at home. Thus, Sigma males constantly have some project or personal thing they are working on. Sigma males always have something they are working on. Sigmas aren't necessarily antisocial or some other label like that. It's just that they love having time to themselves or one-on-one. They don't want to be overrun by people and have a lot of the limelight shine on them. However, in general, he is likely to want his own space and will want to do his own thing. He may appreciate meeting your friends or going out to the occasional pub or concert, but in general, he will want his own space. If you want a guy who will be your psychic most of the time, then a Sigma is not your man. The Sigma tends to stand back to the side a little bit and scope situations out. If you want a guy who will be your psychic most of the time, then a Sigma is not your man. He does not intend to throw himself head first into any social situations that may come his way or engage in idle chatter with anyone who may cross his path. A Sigma may be an excellent choice for you if you're looking for a man who is somewhat reserved yet exudes an air of quiet assurance at the same time. Number 6, he isn't fazed by the prospect of change. Sigma guys are adept at adjusting to new circumstances and don't allow themselves to be unduly stressed out by everyday circumstances that baffle other people. They are able to get along well with other people even though they may not necessarily want to be a part of the gang, and this translates well into different social situations. In other words, it's quite easy for a Sigma to move to a new place, change jobs, or adapt to a new schedule. Of course, just like everyone else, he's going to go through an adjustment phase, but he's likely to be less bothered by changes and being uprooted than a more sedentary, stable guy would be. The Sigma is a wanderer at heart. While he is capable of finding contentment in a single location and establishing roots there, it is in his nature to move from place to place, and he will be delighted to accompany you on journeys to exotic locales and far-flung destinations. The Oracle at Delphi is credited with saying, "To know oneself," and Sigma guys are the essence of this. They know themselves inside and out, including the bad parts, and they face them. This brings us to point number 5. Sigma males have an abundance of self-knowledge. Head-on, the Sigma male isn't looking for excuses or self-glorification. He knows who he is, what he's capable of, and where his weak points are, and he owns them all 100%. Head-on, the Sigma female isn't looking for excuses or self-glorification. If you're sick of meeting people who live and think on the surface, then perhaps a Sigma male is just what the doctor ordered for you. In general, Sigmas are very introspective people who have a good understanding of themselves. It can seem like not being online is creepy or like privacy-minded folks have something to hide, but there is still such a thing as just plain not being that into cultivating an online presence and being on social media. That's where your Sigma male comes in. He's just not a keyboard clacker. He might browse Facebook now and then or send a few tweets, but he's not a guy who spends his time online or is constantly texting or tweeting. Number 4, he can feel old-fashioned, but it's also very appealing to meet someone who chooses not to engage in a debate like this and the newfound rules of being available at all times. While social media has taken over so many of our lives, Sigma personality types are the least likely to engage in social media, at least most of it. While this may seem strange, Sigma personality types are the least likely to engage in social media. Number 3, he will give you space but will expect you to give it back to him. As I indicated earlier, the Sigma man requires their own space. Although he can handle being around other people on occasion, the Sigma male thrives best when he is by himself or in one-on-one settings. The most of the time, he would rather be by himself with his thoughts, working on a project, or contemplating on life in general. Some women may view a Sigma guy as unfriendly or distant, but more often than not, it's only because he doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve. He is not going to be so self-driven. Even though he dislikes being extremely lovey-dovey and talkative, in bed he can still set off quite a few sparks. Because a Sigma male personality has faith in his decision-making, you haven't witnessed him questioning your trust or being envious about the company you hang out with. This is because the kind of woman he chose is a lover, and he trusts her judgment and believes she'll never betray him. Sigma guys have a desire for their own space in a relationship, and they provide their partners the same opportunity to find who they are outside of the context of the partnership. The Sigma man has a strong and self-developed value system that he stands by, regardless of whether he is a part of a certain philosophy, religion, or society, or whether he has built his basic beliefs himself. He abhors being swayed from his principles by the opinions of his peers. He is not going to change his mind about anything simply because it is well-liked, and he is not going to abandon his convictions simply because other people find them odd, unfashionable, or out of step with current trends. If you are a lady looking for a soulmate and you also have strong values that don't change with the times, then the Sigma man is the person for you. Like everyone else, he adheres to a set of guiding principles in his daily life, and he has no intention of abandoning them in order to appease others or win their acceptance. If you are seeking for a talker and a chatty dude, then a Sigma male is not for you since, number 1, he is straightforward and does not talk too much. He is not inherently reserved, but he does not like to engage in idle small talk. He only speaks when he has something to say and speaks in an honest manner. The Sigma male will use his voice as an outlet for the expression of his genuine feelings and thoughts. He does not talk about the work that goes on in the background, where he works through his emotions and decides what to say. This can be challenging if he suddenly appears from nowhere with a decision, but can be amazing if you're sick of guys who treat you like a sounding board and are always going on and on for no apparent reason. Sharon Anderson, a writer who specializes in dating, notes that Sigma males don't spend their time with lengthy talks and try to beat around the bush. Instead, when you have a conversation with them, they will jump right into the meat of the issue. Because unlike other guys, they don't want to complicate things with lengthy explanations, you shouldn't be startled if their responses are short or if they answer things directly and without hesitating.